it is Sarah again. Number
Hello,
2.
this is Sarah.
Nice to see you kids again. Number 2. Solve the following linear programming example. Write the constraints and objective function, graph the function, and determine the min and max according to the given constraints. It's a long one, folks. A car maintenance shop must decide how many oil changes and how many tune-ups can be scheduled in a typical week. The oil change takes 30 minutes and the tune-up requires 90 minutes. The maintenance shop makes a profit of $17 on an oil change and $60 on a tune-up. The shop is required to schedule at least 40 oil changes and 25 tune-ups. What mix of services should the shop schedule to maximize their profit if the typical week has 8,000 minutes available for these two types of services? Okay, figure out both x and y. X will be the oil, and y tune up. Okay. So, step 2, we have to figure out our constraints based on the information given. So, for constraint number 1, we're going to take the min that it takes over the total minimum. So, we're going to have 30x plus 90y is less than or equal to 8,000. And we got that because the oil change takes 30 minutes and the tune-up requires 90 minutes. And it has to be less than or equal to 8,000 minutes because that's all that is available. Alright, so that is constraint 1. Now we have to do constraint 2. So constraint 2 will be x, which is oil, is greater than or equal to 40, and y, which is tune-up, is greater than or equal to 25. And the oil is greater than or equal to 40 because you have to have at least 40 oil changes. And the tune-up is greater than or equal to 25 because you have to have at least 25 tune-ups. Okay. So, now we're going to do over here. After this, we're not going to look at this ever again after this, so make sure to pay attention because we're going to have to erase this because we're not going to have enough room to really teach you what you need to know. Okay. So, alright. Okay, 90, I just can't even see it. Okay, 90y equals negative 30 x plus 8,000, which is also, so all this goes down to here, which is also y equals, because you have to put y equals mx plus b, y equals 1/3 plus 88.88 repeating. right there. That's an 8. Okay, we have to figure out the object of function. So we're going to switch to a blue. So object of function is c equals 17x plus 60y. And that is your object of function. Now I'm going to hand it over to my handy-dandy colleague, Monica, and she will take you through step 3.
Going on with the problem, we're going to go with step 3, which is graphing. We're going to sketch the graph of the constraints to get the points x, y. We decided to take our graph and put on the y-axis, make them go by 5s, and on the x-axis by 10s. So I'm going to draw our coordinate plane. It's a little off, but that's okay. Okay, continuing with the problem. To plug our constraints back in, which you have on your notes, we would put x at 40, which if you take our x is greater than or equal to 40 and our y greater than or equal to 20, this makes a point. So you find your 25 and then you find your 40. And you draw a point. This point marks the beginning of your triangle. Then you draw a straight line going up from it and down from it. It's a little off, but it's okay. And then you draw a line coming from 25. And make sure you have your arrows, because the lines are continual. And then you take your objective function, not your objective function, sorry, your top constraint, and you graph your constraint. But before you graph your constraint, you want to make sure that you put it into your y equals mx plus b form. So when you put it into your y equals mx plus b form, your equation should be y equals 1/3 plus 88.88. This is what you graph. So you find 88 which is up here, and then you find, I took the x values and the y values, when you plug them back into your top constraint, which is from your 30x plus 90y is less than or equal to 8,000. And I got 88.8 and 266.66. So I decided to go to 266.66. Which is right here. Then you draw your line. This might be a little bit crooked, which is fine. you have somewhat a triangle in the middle of your graph. To find if it shades in or not, you plug in a value for your x and y when it is in this form. Sorry, there should be an x right here. So you can plug in like 0, 0, 40, 0, 20, 0, 90, 0, whatever fits in between your line. I get that this line goes out this way when plugging in different points. This line moves away from 0, and then the big red line comes towards 0. As you can see, in the middle of your graph, at this point, all of the right in here, all of the triangles intersect. So this is the shaded part. To find your points, you take where they intersect. So here, up here, and right here. These points are 40, 75, 40, 25, 266.66, repeating, and 88.88. Those are your 2 points. And my colleague Maggie will take it over from here.
Okay, so after you find you fill in your graph, you want to go and find the points that are here, here, and here. So to do this, you just take this one because it's right on the line. So this point right here is 40, 25. This point up here is 40, 75. This point right here is indecisive, so you have to go over here and pick your two constraints from the beginning. So I picked the 30x plus 90y is less than or equal to 8,000, and then I plugged in the y is greater than 25 for the y on this equation. So this comes out to 30x plus 2,260 equals 8,000. And then it's just basic algebra. So we have 30x equals 5,750. And then you divide your 30 equals 191.6 repeating. So you found your x value, which is right here. So it would be 191.6 repeating. And then you have to fill your y value back in. So I'm going to go just down here and put in 30.5. $749. And you take 90y equals, and you subtract the 5,748 to get 2,252. And then you go and divide that by 90 to get 25.7. So your y point would be 25. And then after that, you want to find or you want to go and evaluate the minimum and maximum variables. So you're going to plug these points in to your C equals your objective equation from the very beginning. So from the beginning, your objective equation is C equals 17x plus 60y. And your 3 points are 40, 75, 40, 25, and 191.6 and 25. You're just going to plug these in and find your minimum and maximum values. So you have C equals 17 times 40 plus 60 times 75. C equals 17 times 40 plus 60 times 25. And C equals 17 times 191.6 plus 60 times 25. And then you just fill these in. So this equals.
This is Coyle, you have a phone call on line 1. This is Coyle, line 1.
So 17 times 40 plus 60 times 75 equals 5,180. 17 times 40 plus 60 times 25 equals 2,180. And 17 times 191.6 plus 60 times 25 equals 4,757. So from here you find your minimum and your maximum. So the smallest and the largest number. So your max is.
Same crowd.
No, it's just me.
So your max is.
Talking about
So your max is 5,180 at 40.75, and your min is 2,180
Well, I'm very fast.
40.25.
Dang.
So those two are your maximum and your minimum values. And that is how you go and do linear programming.